Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. And we're going to go in the news. I got a few articles, a few videos that I just wanted to get into and see where it goes through the Holy Spirit. And hopefully you brothers and sisters are edified, as that is the reason we do these videos, as a warning, as exhortation, giving you the understanding of the times that you're in. All right, because it's very, very important that you understand the times that you're in so that you be not deceived. All right. And you don't get in the spirit of being offended by biblical prophecy. All right, because biblical prophecy is centered around, all right, the end of Esau's world. All right, so as Babylon collapses, as this cruel Lord is set up in power, things are going to get worse. All right, but as we're going to show you, Jake, Israel, we're used, to hard times. We're used to weathering a storm. We're witnessing our enemy and those who bought into this whole MAGA madness, all right, collapse as the policies, all right, centered around MAGA, centered around Trump, centered around making America great again, are actually destroying this place, all right, preparing you for the reality of what's to come, okay? And what's to come is the NWO, all right, biometric, identification systems being set up, AI, governance, okay? The taking away of rights, as you have, today is supposedly this No Kings protest. And pretty much, the Trump administration is getting ready to deem everyone who's at the protest an enemy of the state. Okay. Antifa, meaning basically what we're doing, all right, to these so-called drug traffickers. They're showing you videos of them blowing up ships. We're going to be able to do that to our own citizens who are practicing their so-called, rights according to, all right, the First, Second Amendment, whatever the hell it is, free speech. That's done away with. Okay, and it's amended, all right, because they can go and put loopholes in the whole law, and what they told you was lawful. They can basically amend it, change it according to the times that they're in. All right, they told you Trump had plenary power, which gives him the right, and this government the right, okay, to just come down on you. All right, you're not gonna have due process. Many things are happening. Okay, many things are happening. All right, and we, all right, as we're catching this hell, as we're worn out saints, all right, these are the things that should excite us. Okay, these are the things that we are here to witness and to rejoice. Remember, the scripture said, when this place falls, the apostles and prophets, the elect, will rejoice. Revelation 18:20. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. Okay, so this place collapsing, although it comes with bumps and bruises and challenges and uncomforts, we have to understand that this is the only way out. All right, in the meantime, we can rejoice at our enemy being confounded. Jeremiah 50 in the GNT, verse 31, Babylon, you are filled with pride. So I, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, am against you. The time has come for me to punish you. Your proud nation will stumble and fall, and no one will help you. Okay? No one will help you. Okay? Everything is going to crumble. Everything's going to fall. I will set your cities on fire, and everything around will be destroyed. The Lord says the people of Israel and Judah are oppressed. oppressed together here in Babylon the Great and throughout the four corners of the earth. All who captured them are guarding them closely and will not let them go. This is the modern day Egypt. But the one who will rescue them is strong. His name is Yahweh. All right. And how is he going to save us? Via his angel Yahweh Shai, his only begotten son. He himself will take up their cause and will bring peace to the earth, but trouble to the people of Babylon. The Lord says, death to Babylon, death to its people, its rulers, to its people of wisdom, death to its lying prophets. What fools are they? Death to its soldiers. How terrified are they? Destroy its horses and chariots. Death to its hired soldiers. How weak are they? Okay? And see, right now, the soldiers are being given the go-ahead to wage war on their own citizens, and a lot of them, all right, are pretty much rebelling against it. Okay, we're going to get into a little bit of that. Okay, so the it says, how weak are they? Destroy its treasures, bring a drought on its land, and dry up its rivers. Babylon is a land of terrifying idols that have made fools of the people. So this is a video uploaded by the GMS branch, all right, of Tampa, Florida, GMS Tampa Bay. 12, subscribe. Go Trump. Edomites are finished. As you can see within this video he's playing here, Trump voters voted to become hungry, homeless, and their kids uneducated, as everything is now backfiring, as you Edomites jump behind this whole MAGA movement. You jump behind Trump attacking the blue states because they put the so-called black and so-called brown faces as the, point of contention, as the problem and what we need to get rid of. They got rid of, programs and things that not only benefited black and so-called brown families, but benefited you Edomites more than anything, because when it's all said and done, all the statistics that you bring out of your ass and all of the things you go around the earth pushing and spreading, that is just the so-called blacks and browns who are sucking up all of the resources, on welfare, on SNAP, on food stamps. What we're going to come to find out is that many of these red states, many of you Edomites, which we're not down with the left-right divide, we're just bringing it out for what it is. Many of you Edomites depend on these things. Many of you Edomites are now suffering for the very thing you celebrated and was hopping up and down, jumping up and down like monkeys for. And you Edomites look more like monkeys than anybody. Okay? I just want to put that out there. And you eat more chicken than everybody. You some chicken eating niggas, man. And you're at the end of the world. Okay? We're at the end of your world. Esau represents the end of this age. Nobody eats more chicken than Edomites, but they want to sit up there and throw out monkey and chicken eating jokes on Jake. When you go to Edomites, I guarantee you, Edomites eat more chicken than any goddamn body. So now, at the end of your kingdom, you're just a chicken eating, complaining, all right, dusty nigga. Okay? So the 2/3 are going to fall. Yeah, but even better, you Edomites are going to fall right along with them. Your elites don't give a damn about you, because these very programs that Trump is cutting affects your dumb ass. How great. This is why I'm happy Kamala didn't get in there. I love to see America fall at the hands of their own kind. Because could you imagine how Edomites would be acting now if it was Kamala in there? Well, she's I believe she may be a heathen. Who knows? She's a crackpot either way it goes. Okay? Cackling crackpot. Not fit to even be in front of the people. But this is where we are. Your so-called people and men and women of wisdom and so-called leaders, it's all a big joke now. And America is going out with shame. Okay, the Lord has as it says in the book of Isaiah, the 19th chapter, In the 14th verse, the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, that have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Okay? Neither shall there be any work for Egypt which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. And that day shall Egypt be like unto women, scared, right? Fearful, okay? Panicky. And it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh, which the Lord have shaken over it. And the shaking of the hand represents the prophets going out and the prophecies being fulfilled, okay, are leading to Egypt putting hell on its own citizens. And this is the modern day Egypt, if you didn't know. Okay?
Most red states take the majority of all these federal benefits that Dump Pants just cut. Federal funding to Medicaid, school breakfast and lunches, Section 8 rental assistance, Title I education grants, temporary assistance for needy families, which is basically welfare. It's the cash you get. And your food stamps. How you going to get your food? Grants for childcare.
Yeah, food stamps. SNAP benefits won't be renewed for the month of November if there's a shutdown persists, man. Okay, so why these devils are getting on the news and on these videos, you know, blaming one side and the other. Who's losing out? The American people. But see, it was only supposed to be Jake. Okay, these policies that were passed had you MAGAs jumping up with those big snapback red hats. Probably didn't even have the snap on. It's just a loose hat flopping up and down while you're jumping up and down with missing teeth, beer on your breath, talking about some goddamn Jesus Christ. Talking about America, we're going to make America white and Christian again. Well, you Edomites are receiving the fruits of your labor. SNAP benefits, which you Edomites are on SNAP benefits. It's not just niggas. Right? A lot of you heathen come over here, and Esau has basically made you heathen. All right, a lot of you Elamites. Okay, you come over here, you Hamites, you come over here, and you basically get free health care. You get free SNAP benefits. Okay, while Jake is over here just catching hell and being labeled as the absolute problem and drainer of the economy. We need to stop wasting money on these niggas. But come to find out, when you get into it, Esau receives more government assistance than niggas. See, you Edomites have been able to prop yourself up as the greatest, okay, nation on the planet Earth with the highest IQ. But it's all coming out that, look, you're losing. Red states and people who voted for this guy, the policies that are being passed are kicking them in the ass. That rhymes, right? Y'all are through. And Jake knows how to weather the storm. We're going to get into a few videos. Edomites don't know what to do.
Head Start and the program for women's, infants, and children, which is better known by WIC. So that's mamas who get formula for their babies.
Well, here's some instant karma. The Republican governor of Georgia, who said that he was supporting Donald Trump in the 2024 election for business reasons. He thinks Trump would be good for business. Of course, I'm talking about Brian Kemp. Well, he just got handed some instant karma when the Trump administration denied necessary FEMA aid to Georgia that former President Biden was providing to the state of Georgia. Let me just show you the letter that Brian Kemp received from Donald Trump's FEMA as Trump's trying to gut FEMA. This is in response to your January 24th, 2025 request for an extension to the cost share waiver under major disaster FEMA-4830-DR that was declared on September 30th, 2024 due to Hurricane Helene. So it's an extension of what Biden agreed to immediately. You specifically requested an extension of the 100% federal cost share for debris removal and emergency protective measures, including direct federal assistance to 180 days. and you reiterated your request for an increase in the federal cost share for permanent work to 90%. Based on our review of all of the information available, it has been determined that the increased level of funding you have requested for major disaster FEMA-4830-DR is not warranted. Therefore, I must inform you that your request for an extension of the period of 100% federal funding for debris removal and emergency protective measures, including direct federal assistance to 180 days, is denied. Governor Kemp was requesting an extension of what Biden provided for debris removal.
The president just called me yesterday afternoon. I missed him and called him right back. And he just said, hey, what do you need? And I told him, we got what we need. We'll work through the federal process. He offered that if there's other things we need, just to call him directly.
Donald Trump said, here's my middle finger, go F yourself.
65% of the state of Alabama voted for Donald Trump. Alabama is in the top 10 poorest states in the United States related to federal poverty level. While many of these voters sit behind their computers and celebrate Elon Musk cutting waste, little did they know it was going to impact them. This week, over 250 residents in Huntsville, Alabama received a notice from their electric company that they were going to have to pay an additional $100 surcharge. The explanation for this was that Donald Trump's recent executive order ended a $1 million grant to the utilities company to help these customers pay for their electric bill. Leaders in Alabama are furious because they said this is...
And then the data centers being set up all over these places, okay, making your electric bill higher. Okay? So you voted for your own downfall. Not that it mattered anyway, because whether the left or the right got in office, the bidding of the elite was going to be done. But this is the Lord wrote this story perfectly for the elect sake. Okay, we just have to trust that he is. Okay, you go through those bouts of so-called depression. You get, you just like, damn, I don't have what I want. You got it. The Lord is giving you what you need. We're all catching hell. We're all in positions that, like, damn, but the water Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, as the Elder Barack from Los Angeles has been pushing to brothers, be thankful. Count your blessings, man. We good. Look at why they sinning, we winning.
Counterintuitive to Donald Trump's promise to lower energy costs.
Which is a real kick in the shorts.
Aaron Pape is a farmer from Peshtigo in northeastern Wisconsin. He recently got a disturbing message from the federal government.
They replied back that they owe me about $30,000, but then there was some very disconcerting language. We're unable to pay on this contract at this time and don't know when funds will be made available because it was contracted as part of the Inflation Reduction Act. Any further practice implementation is at my own discretion.
The message came from the Natural Resources Conservation Service about the reimbursement contract they have with the Pape family farm.
$30,000 might not be a lot of money to some people, but it's a lot to me. It's a lot to my business, and I need that money to operate. I was counting on that money to be able to operate my farm this year. If I don't get paid that $30,000, I got to go borrow that money.
The reimbursement contract was going to help the Papes pay for seed, a watering system, and fence. Pape says the freeze is adding more economic uncertainty for farmers also being hit with the end of USAID, which will cost farmers hundreds of millions of dollars in income. Plus, farmers could bear the brunt of retaliation from tariffs affecting fertilizer pricing and availability right away, all rippling through the rest of the rural economy.
Federal government is just being hit with a sledgehammer right now, and programs are just being smashed and departments being closed, at the drop of a hat. It's way too chaotic. It's making it very difficult to react to.
All the Trump supporter parents in Texas are crying literally on the internet because he's closing the schools. Oh, it's almost like he said he would do that. Crazy, right? Why are you mad that your kids are going to be dumber than you? That's what you literally voted for. You literally voted for your kids to grow up to be fucking imbeciles, and now y'all are mad.
And see, a lot of these Jakes, they're mocking the MAGAs, but see, where they go wrong is that they thought Kamala would have been the answer. A lot of these people that do these videos, but either way it go, we're just having fun with it through the Holy Spirit. Okay, through.
I feel like Trump supporters voted for Trump in hopes that he will not keep his promises, but he's doing even worse than that. He refuses to keep the good promises that he made and is only sticking to the bad.
Right. Proverbs 25:19. Confidence in an unfaithful man in a time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. And I cannot wait till you so-called black conservatives who are just kissing Trump's ass. Okay, because I got to address y'all too. Okay?
Now your kids can't fucking read and you're upset.
An analysis found the 15 states that most rely on federal funding for its public schools in 2022 all voted for Trump.
And I voted for President Trump.
I mean, you're an educator. You didn't vote for Trump eliminating federal funds.
No, I did not vote for that. I voted for President Trump to make America first again. If we have federal cuts,
America first. How about Israel first? Huh? See, when they were putting the black faces in front, we cutting this and DEI this and welfare and food stamp, y'all. The niggas like this, that's what she is. They were cheering it on. Okay? Because for years they had to endure the left justifying the worst of the worst of our people, man, which was all set up. George Floyd, but they hate niggas anyway, but they had to endure just the worst of the worst kind of niggas being, becoming heroes and, the marches and the BLM, which was funded by their people as well. So now Trump came in with that red hat, okay, which that's spiritual because Esau Edom is red. And we've reached the find out part of the effing around. Now they're saying, I didn't vote for this. Well, it's going to get worse. And Edomites do not do well with hard times.
to make America first again. If we have federal cuts, then that's going to mean bigger classroom sizes. I would lose teachers, first and foremost. It's devastating.
I don't think that anyone in our county wants to cut our school funding. I don't think that anyone voted for that.
Do you mind if I ask who you voted for in the election?
I voted for Donald Trump.
At what point in life are we just going to start calling Trump supporters idiots? Like fucking dummies.
But I guess the Kamala ones were the wise ones, right? Let's get the book of Baruch, the 4th chapter and the 30th verse. Baruch 4:30. Take good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoiced at thy fall. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that received thy sons. That's Babylon. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin, and was glad at thy fall, so shall she be grieved by her own desolation. Let's get some more.
The Trump administration admits farmers are not doing well under President Trump's tariffs, most especially soybean farmers. The quote, collateral damage, as Politico puts it, in the president's trade war with China. Since May, China has not purchased a single U.S. soybean, not a one.
Trump's illegal tariffs have single-handedly destroyed the U.S. soybean market. Historically, 60% of Iowa soybeans have gone to China. With Trump's trade wars from his first administration, the U.S. has become an unreliable supplier. So instead of these soybeans going to China, it's soybeans from South America, like places like Brazil and Argentina.
Tell me about what's happening with your farm.
Well, we've got a real disaster.
And he just bailed out farmers in Argentina because that small hat that's over Argentina is his guy, his boy. More of a kick in the ass to you Americans. Farmers are struggling. The Northern Kingdom who was working your fields have been chased out. They're scared to come outside. Okay? Funding and everything, and basically they want to do away with farming. They want to do away with people who are able to produce food for themselves and for other people so that you can be dependent on them.
Sure, with this tariff deal. Last year we sent around $12 billion, I think $14 billion worth of soybeans the year before. For the first time in 20 years, China's bought 0 soybeans and 0 new crop corn out of this country.
Zero?
So we went from 12 billion to 0.
What's it doing politically? Are they still set on Trump and his leadership?
I've got buddies that say you have to trust him. I have buddies that just cannot do the left side of things, and that's where they're at. But now I went to the farm show in Decatur, and I met a lot of guys that farm up north that sings a lot different song than they sung 7 months ago or 8 months ago.
What's up, everybody? Major Retirement Channel Jetta here. And it's always the folks who scream the loudest about America first who end up stabbing Americans in the back first chance they get. And right now, Donald Trump, the self-proclaimed champion of the forgotten farmer, just pulled off a move that has soybean growers and corn producers absolutely furious.
We voted because he was going to help the farmers, but now it's just hurting us like crazy.
We voted because he was going to help the farmers. Okay. Let's see here. Let's get it here. I'm going to go here. This one that I always have a hard time finding, but I believe it's in Jeremiah 50, around 17. Yeah. Jeremiah 50 and 11 is a good one. Because you were glad, because you rejoiced, O you destroyers of my heritage. And all of these Edomites you see complaining, boy, you just know when they're not on camera what they're saying about you niggas, man. And what their grandparents and, great grandparents and what they were taught about you. There's a lot of, Christian nationalists who have left the cult and are doing videos on YouTube telling you what they have learned, what they were being taught about, Edomite supremacy and how niggas ain't this and niggas ain't that. Okay? Jeremiah 50 and 16. Cut off the sower from Babylon and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his own people. And let's get this in the NLT. Take from Babylon all those who plant crops. Send all the harvesters away because of the sword of the enemy. See? And that cruel Lord. Okay? This is all prophecy. 2nd Esdras 15. And 12. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and the punishment that God shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn. Their seed shall fail through blasting and hail and of the fearful constellation. So those that till the ground, the farmer, are going to be in a state of mourning, not only because of the weather patterns and the things that are destroying their crops and things naturally, but because of the oppressing sword. See? Edomite supremacy, so-called white supremacy, only benefited you Edomites, all right, in word. You benefited from it very little. Now that very system of supremacy is oppressing your ass. We don't feel sorry for you, boy. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Stop complaining. Get over it.
Agriculture is
It's America, goddammit. It's free. It's a free country.
foundation here in Nebraska and many states in the Midwest. If agriculture is failing here, everything is going to fail.
People here wondering if President Trump has forgotten past promises to look after them, even during trade wars.
Here's the deal. Trump is pushing a $20 billion bailout for Argentina to prop up their economy and keep the president afloat. Now, if you're wondering how that helps the farmers in Iowa, Nebraska, or Kansas who've been squeezed for years by bad trade wars.
And who's the president? Let's look up who's the president of Argentina. Really quick. Oh, man. Wow. And dun 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 dun. His grandfather was a small hat. He's a small hat, man. Okay? He's a small hat. Enough said.
The answer is it doesn't. In fact, it makes things much worse. Because while U.S. farmers are drowning in debt, struggling with low commodity prices, and fighting to hold onto shrinking export markets, Trump is busy shoveling money overseas to a direct competitor.
You know, as a farmer, we get up one morning and you give Argentina, which is our second biggest competition in the world, They're the largest exporters of soybean meal in the world. So I get up one morning, I turn the news on, and you give $20 billion of taxpayer money to my competition.
What do you do? You're a soybean farmer. Last time I talked to you, you said you believe you're going to break even. Are you still on track to break even?
I don't know. I lost 10% of market share since we talked last. I've lost another $12 an acre for the difference in the market when we talked last to where I'm at today.
It was like a month ago.
Every day. Yeah. Lost another $12 an acre since then on 500 acres.
Argentina is already moving soybeans to China, the very market American farmers lost access to because of Trump's bluster. And this bailout makes them stronger. That's why farmers see this as such a brutal slap in the face. The man who promised to fight for them is literally funding their competition.
Everybody's scared to death. I got friends that are bankers that, will tell you the bank examiners is already telling them, look, you're going to have to go to these guys because their equipment's not going to be worth as much. Their land's not going to be worth as much.
Here's where the rage really boils over, because this isn't just some abstract foreign policy decision. To the people Trump built his whole brand around, farmers, rural workers, the so-called forgotten man, this bailout feels like a straight-up betrayal.
Markets have gone away, input costs have gone up, and there's farmers in Montana, just like there are in Arkansas, that are wondering how they're going to stay in business. And bankers are looking at them going, can I have some?
We was farmers and shit.
Or to continue to loan these folks money. This is crazy. And to get bailed out by the CCC again is the last thing the farmers want. They want these markets to work. And these tariffs have destroyed the markets for farmers across the board. Family farmers.
One quick question to you about the president. He put out a message on Truth Social last hour saying that he's going to be meeting with President Xi of China and that he will discuss soybeans. Do you put much stock in that? Does that make you feel better?
Well, I mean, what good's it going to do to discuss soybeans in almost November? Because Senator Tester can correct me if I'm wrong here, but in November, the Brazilians will start cutting. They'll be in full swing by December. They don't need us.
And farmers who've already been hammered by Trump's tariffs on China are being told to just deal with it, while their biggest competitor gets a lifeline. That's not American first. That's Argentina first. And let's not kid ourselves about why this is happening. This isn't about some noble act of global stability. It's about politics. Argentina's president, Javier Milei, a far-right Trump cheerleader, was in trouble. His party was floundering ahead of the midterms. Markets were tanking, and suddenly Trump comes riding in with a gift bag of American tax dollars. That's cronyism. That's taxpayer money being used to prop up a political buddy abroad. Let me tell you what this really is. This isn't about helping farmers. This isn't about stabilizing anybody's damn economy. This is about Donald Trump taking your tax dollars and sending them to bail out his far-right buddy down in Argentina, Javier Milei. And who's clapping in the background? Elon Musk. Milei and Musk have been running around playing libertarian cosplay, chainsaws and free markets, while American farmers have been getting crushed. They're patting each other on the back at Tesla's factory, cooking up deals for Starlink, and Musk is licking his chops over Argentina's lithium mines. And then what happens? Trump comes riding in with your money to make sure Milei doesn't crash and burn. You think this is about you, the farmer in the Midwest? No. This is about...
Well, sounds like a problem there, buddy. Good luck.
American farmers have destroyed themselves by voting for this Trump regime. Their hate for so many groups of people that they have learned to demonize.
You can see the video, the title of the video is there. Okay.
Allow them to vote themselves out of business by voting for Donald Trump and today's MAGA Republicans. I don't know what else to say. We already know how the American soybean farmer was decimated. This fall, China, their biggest customer, placed exactly 0 orders for soybeans from American farmers because of Donald Trump's regime's tariffs. They went to Brazil. We all saw the videos of the farmers crying in Arkansas, I believe it was. Please, Mr. President, we love you, but come save us. Oh, you guys, it just gets so much worse. So you know how our $20 billion in taxes, yours, Mr. Farmer, and mine, was just snatched from us and given to the leader of Argentina to help keep their version of Donald Trump in power?
I have to see what the hell this nigga is doing here. Oh, he was the one with, this was the dude that was with Elon with that chainsaw.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. We've got one more surprise in case this wasn't enough. I'm gonna let Elon do it. Who else is here? Well, President Milei has a gift for me.
Javier Milei from Argentina. You guys know who that is, right?
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw.
What in the hell is going on with Esau? This gotta be the end of y'all. This gotta be the end of Esau. I'm convinced. I'm convinced, man. Jeremiah 51. Sheesh. Your wise, these are your wise men. These are your leaders. You know? Verse 41, the Lord says about Babylon, GNT, Jeremiah 51. The city that the whole world praise has been captured. What a horrifying sight Babylon has become to the nations. The towns, verse 43, have become a horrifying sight and are like a waterless desert where no one lives or even is done. I will punish Baal, the god of Babylon, and make him give up his stolen goods, and the nation shall not worship him anymore. So America's losing its stench, man. It's over. Okay? Do not lose, verse 46, do not lose courage or be afraid because of the rumors you hear about Babylon falling. Every year a different rumor spreads, rumors of violence in the land and of one king fighting another. And so the time is coming when I will deal with the Babylon's idols. The whole country will be put to shame and all of its people will be destroyed. Everyone on the earth and in the sky will shout out for joy when Babylon falls, for the people who come from the north, Russia, will destroy it. Babylon caused the death of people all over the world, and now Babylon will fall because it caused the death of so many Israelites. I, the Lord, have spoken it. Okay? Woo! 53 say, even if Babylon could climb to the sky and build a strong fortress there, which they're trying to do. So this place is done, man. Okay? This place is done.
Your 20 billion and my 20 billion? This was screenshot on our Department of Treasury's cell phone from our Department of Agriculture. Ready? Finally, just a heads up, I'm getting more intel, but this is highly unfortunate, the text said. We bailed out Argentina yesterday, and in return, the Argentines are removing their export tariffs on grains, reducing their price, and sold a bunch of soybeans to China at a time when we would normally be selling to China. Soy prices are dropping further because of it.
Yeah, you can keep watching. I mean, it's just people complaining. All right? Hurt.
Of soybean meal in the world. So I get up one morning, I turn the news on, and you get $20 billion of taxpayer money to my competition.
Hypocrisy of Trump's supposed America First agenda is exposed. Get this. While American farmers are struggling to keep their heads above water, Donald Trump just decided to send a $20 billion bailout, not to Kentucky, not to Iowa, but to Argentina. Let me break this down.
It's already started out to be a tough week. Anyway, I just wanted to weigh in a little bit because I'm trying to figure out MAGA if you have won. The sad part about all of this is that you're losing your jobs. The soybean farmers are just screwed.
Everything Trump is doing is destroying this place. World's largest food company is cutting 16,000 jobs due partly to automation. What is that? AI. Machines, robots are doing your jobs now. Trump came in, surrounded himself with all of these tech AI billionaire transhumanists, guys. Why are you mad now? Trump compared to Alexander the Great by Jewish publication. I should have put this up first, man. We at the end, man. Remember, this beast system, pursuant to the book. I love it, man. Revelation 13. Because I'm catching hell, right? But, you see this stuff. It's like, yes, Revelation 13 and 2. And the beast, this very beast system we live in, which I saw was like unto a leopard. The leopard represents the Greeks. This very beast system we live in started with the Greeks. Okay? We have to understand the scriptures told us in First Maccabees, all right? Because remember, Esau used to be big on saying civilization started with the Greeks, right? Oh man. Which Alexander the Greek is in the Bible. Okay? First Maccabees, the first chapter, Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, which that links that links them when you go into the lands they conquered. That links them to the Amalekites. Okay, I believe Haman was called a Macedonian in another part of the scriptures, which Haman was a descendant of Agag. So these are Edomites. And Alexander made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. See, that's what they're trying to do again under Trump. And went through the earth and took spoils of many nations. All right. But let's just get to the point. Under the Greeks, after his 4 generals took over after his death, which that's prophesied in Daniel, the 7th chapter, verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns on themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the world. Under the Greeks, evils were multiplied. Okay, although Alexander allowed the Jews to, keep their customs, okay, he was kind of in awe of us. Even certain priests showed him, you are fulfilling this prophecy. You are this, horn talked about in Daniel. He was in awe of it. He allowed us to keep our customs, right? But when he died, Antiochus and his generals eventually started putting hell on Jake, and that's where Hellenization started. But Trump is being compared to Alexander the Great. How ironic. Let's go to the Post. President Trump is the Alexander the Great of our time. Alexander is the only name in non-Jewish origin that has been accepted by the Jews. Why is he accepted? Okay, because technically he was an Edomite. Alexander defeated the Persians, nowadays Iran, right? And conquered Judea, right? And he treated Judaism and Jewish sages with great respect. See, we were just telling you that history. Okay, and our apostles and elders brought this history out before Esau. Now they tapping into it, but we've been learned this. In his honor, the priest Simon, all right, you can go into it. And as Alexander saved the Jews, President Trump is the savior for Israel. So these devils are just crashing all the way out, man. They ain't playing no games. All right, they're at the end of the road, and they go bring all manner of things out. We getting ready to see a lot, man. I thought that was funny. I should have put that at the very beginning of the video, but woo. Beautiful times. Let's go here.
And my car is dying. It's paid.
Look at this nigga here, boy. Woo. It's a rough looking nigga there. Let's go here. Let's go to the beginning. B-boy reaction. White folks are furious and intimidated by black excellence. The silence is driving them mad. They're like, why ain't niggas really complaining like that?
Enjoy your weekends when you're broke. Am I the only one saying this? But
You ever work all week, you realize you ain't got no money, then the weekend rolls around, and you think to yourself, I can't enjoy it because I got no money to do nothing. I remember in summertime, one time I was like, you're gonna go get gas to mow my lawn, and realized I was broke and had to like take money off my overdraft, my checking account.
Our economy is so fucked that I work a full-time job. I make $21 an hour working 40 hours a week.
Got back on American soil, where everything is overrated, where everybody struggles with mental health, where you struggle just to live, where you put on a smile for everybody.
You don't get like it used to, baby. See, once upon a time in America, you could be real mid and still thrive. Mediocre effort, boom, you get a house, car, annual vacation, pension, hell, maybe even a boat. You could clock in, coast through the week, grill on Sundays, and still retire with dignity. But that era is dead and gone, baby. And instead of leveling up or adapting, they're mad, they're bitter, and they're not even blaming the billionaires. They blaming you. They have the audacity to blame me. They blaming immigrants, black people, queer folk, anyone they think is taking something that used to be theirs by default. See, they don't want equality. They want comfort. And when mediocrity no longer gets them that comfort, they start rewriting the rules to rig the game again. It ain't about fairness. It's about preserving the lie. The lie that being average should still be enough for them.
I'm going to say this one time real loud with my full chest, so go ahead and hear me out on this one. If working is mandatory, if labor is something we are required to do in order to prove we deserve our existence, if we have no choice but to choose an occupation whether or not we want it, if you are forcing me to sell my body to do somebody else's labor and telling me I have no other choice and neither does anyone else, you shouldn't have any other choice but to give us a roof over our heads, food for our stomachs, and whatever else we need to survive. If you want us to be forced to work, but do not want to guarantee life necessities, that is slavery, you quads! This country loves slavery! They just rebranded it! And don't tell me to leave! I would if I had the fucking money! But that's the whole point of this system, you dumb fuck this country!
Well, second time in a year, almost a year to the day,
Damn.
I got laid off again. Twice in a year. And, what the... What is anyone supposed to do? And they said, because of the economy is crap right now. So, we're going to lay off a whole bunch of people again. And I already was struggling so hard. Actually, low key, to even keep the current roof over my head. And now I have no idea how I'm even going to get through the next few hours. I just don't understand. But yeah, the economy is shit. America is shit right now.
Times the federal minimum wage, and I cannot afford to live. And I do not want to hear the pull yourself up from your bootstraps, work 90 hours a week. That's not the goal, guys. That should not be our standard. I am so fucking tired of people being complacent with this uniparty, both of them f***ing us over. When my parents were my age, they both made less than half of what I make, and they lived alone. I cannot afford to live anywhere alone. A one-bedroom apartment, $1,800.
To look deep down, you're like, brother, you are not happy at all. And truly, it breaks my heart. But one reason, I think, one of the main reasons that a lot of white people, a lot of us are really unhappy and miserable is because we lack internal congruence. Now, congruence is a concept we learned early in grad school to help people heal. And congruence is basically internal alignment. Values and actions are on the same page, right? Like we accept every part of ourselves. We feel peace, security in who we are, congruence. And no matter how hard you try, you can never find internal congruence if you're not congruent with the world around you. If you're not understanding what's real and seeing reality and affirming what's true. So like white people who deny patriarchy and capitalism's negative effect and oppression of the world and genocide that's happening around the world, like that's incongruent with reality. That is going to have an effect on us internally. Because to deny...
And these same people would be cheering on their history, cheering on everything that if they were in a better position.
What's happening in real time, we have to deny certain parts of us, certain emotions, certain thoughts that come up. And the more we run for that, the more incongruent and separate we feel, the more dissonance that comes, the more miserable we are. And a lot of times we're not actually dealing with our own pain and our own reality because we're all suffering under capitalism and white supremacy, like, it affects us different ways, intersectionality, but like, it affects us white people too. You don't think a stormtrooper in the fucking Star Wars movies hates his life? You don't think he hates being bossed around all the time? You don't think poor white people living in the Empire, like in a city walls, like in a Game of Thrones, like, you don't think that they're miserable under it, even though they're not miserable the most? To be congruent inside, to not be miserable anymore, it takes accepting the realities of the world, seeing how those toxic systems affect us, and then moving to actually be congruent. Because deep down, humanity has goodness at its center. So yeah, white people, we're miserable because we're not congruent, because we're denying the realities of the world, and thus denying ourselves.
Yep, they blaming Jake, but that shit's running out. Look at this. Woo, through, boy.
No extra expenses, no bills, out of my living. I have one credit card that's max because I've lived off of it, but other than that, I don't have cable. I haven't had cable in 10 years. We have cell phones, but, you know, that's required to live on.
Executive order has Trump signed that has made anything cheaper in America. Anything. Did paper straws make things cheaper for you? Did renaming the Gulf of Mexico, which I will never call the Gulf of what he named it, nothing he has done has saved you any money. Trump is a fraud, and he has always been a fraud. He's a grifter, a snake oil salesman, and he always has been. And you mega chuds bought into it.
So it's being said that young white men have been radicalized because they've been disenfranchised. And there's some truth to that. But I believe that their disenfranchisement has been the result of the unfulfilled promises of privilege. Like their complaint is that, I'm 27, I'm 30 years old, and I have no financial, economic, or romantic prospects. And newsflash, that's literally what people of color and marginalized groups have been complaining about for decades, for generations, about their lack of prospects in this country. That has actually actively led to their disenfranchisement, well, our disenfranchisement, because I'm one of them. But we worked and we learned our way out of that so that we wouldn't be in a position where we elected into leadership our actual oppressors. See, young white men don't view or identify older white males as their oppressors because they look like them, because they're their dads and their uncles. But unfortunately, the fact that those promises of privilege have not been fulfilled for them, that the entitlement that they have been raised and ingrained within them, the fact that all of this is yours and for you and, as divine by the will of God, and none of it should you have to work for, which is part of what their complaint is. And they don't want a competitive space in a competitive world. The chant in Charlottesville, Jews will not replace us. This fear of being replaced because in a competitive marketplace, you haven't been bred for generations to compete. You have been told that you were entitled to all of it, and it is your birthright. So you haven't competed. You haven't improved yourself. You haven't built skills to put you in a place to compete with the people of color who have been told their whole lives for generations twice as hard for half as much. But again, the radicalization of these young white males is just the unfulfilled promises of privilege. But now you find yourself in a space where you are facing the same world as the groups that have been marginalized by your fathers and your grandfathers. So I think the solution is to actually find yourself unifying with these marginalized groups who have worked so hard to scale.
Nope, not gonna happen.
Are at the point where the Titanic has hit the iceberg, split in two. It is starting to sink. All of the rich people have already left the boat. They are off to safety, and the rest of us are just running around while the ship's starting to sink. In fact, half the people are telling us that the ship is fine. Nothing's to worry about. Nothing's happening. And then of the half that are remaining, a third of those are telling us, just wait until we get in control of the ship and then we'll be fine. And another third of us are telling, we're not.
Underneath the post about white privilege. All right, let's get into it. Poor white folks are screwed by the system too, no doubt. Poor white Americans face poverty, unemployment, crappy health care, and a failing education system. It's tough, it's brutal, and it's wrong. But guess what? You're not also dealing with systemic racism on top of all of that. White privilege doesn't mean you're living in luxury. It means that you don't have the added weight of racial discrimination. You don't have to worry about being shot by the police at a disproportionate rate for looking too suspicious. You're not getting followed around stores.
I really hate making this kind of video, but apparently I need to because my videos are being suppressed again, and I would really appreciate it if you would go watch my videos and engage with them, comment, share, follow if you're not following, because who knows what's going on with TikTok right now. I'd like to think that these things aren't intentional, but with the current political climate, who knows? I think there was an update recently, and I have noticed in the past that when there's an update, it just tends to make the whole app go crazy, but anyway, if you could help me out, I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, and I am not surprised. I think this directly speaks to the massive disconnect from humanity that comes along with being a white-bodied individual. And like I was talking about in the video, I think, it's very telling when white people are like, why isn't anybody doing anything? And all the communities outside of whiteness are like, what the fuck do you mean? Why aren't you doing anything as a white person? And then the response is, I don't know what to do. There's nothing I can do. We are not, as a white collective, built for this shit. We as a collective do not have the survival skills, the community, the regulation skills, the mental health, the conflict resolution skill. We don't have any of that. And so this is what, again, pushes us further back into our own individualism. And the thing, I talked about this at a different platform yesterday, but our individualism not only will kill us, but it is in fact killing everyone else right now, because our collective individualism has pushed us into complacency. And the wild thing is, I know that response that you gave is not only the truth.
So someone said, my white coworker is absolutely traumatized by what is happening to this country and what it has become. I told her it's just another day for black people and kept walking.
But white people would hear that and take offense to it, right? And then simultaneously want to say, hey, I got a fucking blue bracelet, or I'm safe. But then the response is, oh, nobody cares. Nobody likes me. Why would you say that? Like,
boy, these Edomites are in for a rude awakening. You see? Isaiah 19:2. This is what the Lord says. I will stir up civil war in Egypt and turn brother against brother and neighbor against neighbor. Rival cities will fight each other. Rival kings will struggle for power. I'm going to frustrate the plans of the Egyptians and destroy their morale. They will ask for idols to help them, and they will go and consult mediums and ask the spirits of the dead for advice. These Edomites are all on ChatGPT, and they hurt. They ain't built for it. And I will hand the Egyptians over to a tyrant, and a cruel king will rule them. Hear that nigga go right here. Okay? You've been handed over to the tyrant. And everything is going downhill for you devils, man. Okay? Everything. I mean, everywhere you look, you just see nothing but confusion coming from this system, man. Okay? Everywhere. Okay? Everywhere. Prince Andrew forced to give up royal titles amid Epstein scandal. Yeah, I mean, the Epstein thing is played out. There's a whole system of Epsteinism going on. Okay? That island ain't the only place, and it ain't just 12-year-old little girls, and it's more than just, sex trafficking and pedo things going on. It's all kind of wickedness and transhumanists, all kind of people that they kill off in the media or in the character killer. A lot of these people go to these islands, and it's all kind of wickedness going on. The Edomite got to be taken out of power. Soros exposed for funding anti-Trump No Kings protests. I wanted to get into the No Kings thing, but I'll do another video later, man. These Edomites, this system is crumbling, man. The morale is being destroyed. Okay, I was looking at this other one real quick, and I'll cut it off after this. People can't even afford their pets. Let me see if I can find that one. Okay, people can't even afford their pets no more. Let's see here. There was another one I was looking. Maybe the video got taken down. Oh, here we go.
The number one worst purchase, and I think most people are expecting me to say, oh, a brand new car, a luxury purse, or not getting takeout. This is arguably way worse. And I actually would rather buy luxury goods over this one item, and it's a pet, specifically a dog. The fact is that dogs require a lot of maintenance. They're going to, not only do they suck up your time, but you got to feed them. That costs money. If you go on vacation, you got to find a dog sitter. That costs money. Toys, accessories, those.
As far as the food bank, that's been one of the biggest hot ticket items for the community. It's actually helped in a way that helps not only the community, but the shelter as well. Animal services are human services.
Can you please talk a minute about the issue of saying if you can't afford a pet, you shouldn't have one? I find people on the internet to be very cutthroat. I'll see often in comment sections of someone sharing about their struggles, people saying, well, you shouldn't have an animal then, you should give them up. But just in general, there seems to be a lack of empathy. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about someone...
These Edomites are through, man.
This is just so... We've all been feeling prices going up everywhere. It's been hitting every single one of us. And I think it's called soft economic indicators that we're going into a recession.
Oh,
It's
man.
the stuff that's not obvious, clear as day.
Perplexity.
Was how many families are relinquishing their family pets because they can't afford them anymore. That is skyrocketing. That shelters who are already overburdened are now beyond capacity. People can't afford their pets anymore in this economy, this Trump economy. I have 2 greyhounds. If you guys know anything about greyhounds that have been rescued, they usually come with digestive issues. So you got to feed them a really higher quality brand of dog food.
This is hell, man. You know, you could look at the rest of that. That's off D's perspective. Can't afford their pets. You know, MAGA is divided. Everything's through.
Fissures happening in MAGA because an authoritarian has to emit this toxic masculinity at all times. $8 billion every single year because it's for their defense. We have to fund their Iron Dome. But by the way, Israel has, they have state-funded healthcare. They have state-funded education, college education.
So you even got MAGA members calling out shit. This shit is over, man, you know? So the next thing to do is just come with the sword. But I just wanted to bring out a few of those things. I mean, I had a few more, but see what this is.
I'm joined now by the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, Robert Garcia. Thanks for joining me.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
So we are now fast approaching what will be the longest delay of a House member being prevented from being sworn in, and that is all owed to the fact that Mike Johnson continues to do Donald Trump's bidding and do whatever he can to prevent the discharge petition from being signed. As we know, Representative-elect Grijalva would be the 218 signature. So do we have any update now in terms of Mike Johnson's willingness to actually do his job and swear in this new member of Congress?
Well, first, it's obviously very clear now that Mike Johnson is now involved in this cover-up.
The cover-up of the Epstein file, same old shit.
What's your reaction to Bad Bunny being chosen as the Super Bowl halftime?
I didn't even know who Bad Bunny was, but it sounds like a terrible decision in my view.
How come?
What's that?
How come?
Well, it sounds like he's not someone who appeals to a broader audience, and I think, there's so many eyes on the Super Bowl, a lot of young, impressionable children, and I think, in my view, you would have Lee Greenwood, role models doing that, not somebody like this.
Wait, did this man say the Super Bowl halftime show not only needs to feature Lee Greenwood, but also that it should be about protecting children? Is that so? Are you insane?
People are losing their minds because Bad Bunny is going to be doing the Super Bowl halftime show. This is incredible. The level of upset.
Is that a woman? Is that a
You ever see somebody get so mad that you're like, this is just weird? Like, not even, we're past like the levels of angry I expect you to get, and we're into a new realm where it knocks me out of even any sort of reactionary response. I'm more just like, are you okay?
A fair point, because it's exactly how many feel. We have reached a new level with the outrage.
The last thing I want to talk to you about is because I'm about ready to do my commentary on it. But do you think Bad Bunny's a good choice for the Super Bowl?
I'm not that knowledgeable about him, but it seems fine, and I don't know why it's a big deal. Seems like a great American artist, so sure.
He's not an American artist, but
he's Puerto Rican. That's part of America, dear.
Yeah, I'm embarrassing.
Anyway, yeah. Hey, we at the end of this thing, man. We'll be back with more. I just wanted to go through some things. I'm gonna leave it right there. This place is done, man. Proverbs 28:2 NLT. When there is moral rot within the nation, its government topples easily. But wise and knowledgeable leaders bring stability. Okay? It ain't no stability. Okay, this place is done. Okay, and you maggers. Okay, hey, good luck. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe white Jesus will come help you all, right? Shalom.